Long before the murders, the prison walls, and the terrifying headlines that would shock America, there was only a smiling boy standing quietly for a photograph in Baltimore. His suspenders hung neatly over a striped shirt, while a playful grin spread across his young face beneath tired eyes. Neighbors saw another child growing up inside rough streets shaped by poverty, fear, and violence. Nobody around him realized they were looking at the boy who would become Joe Metheny. Joe grew up in neighborhoods where anger traveled faster than kindness and survival mattered more than dreams. His father died while Joe was still young, leaving his exhausted mother struggling to raise several children inside a city already breaking apart around them. Police sirens echoed constantly through the streets while broken families fought desperately just to survive another difficult week. Fear slowly became part of Joe's understanding of how the world truly worked. As Joe entered his teenage years, he became larger, stronger, and more intimidating than almost everyone around him. Fights erupted constantly at school and on the streets because rage inside him always seemed ready to explode without warning. Teachers described him as unstable, while classmates learned quickly to avoid him whenever his mood shifted suddenly. Even silence felt dangerous whenever Joe stood nearby watching people with cold, irritated eyes. By adulthood, the smiling boy from the old photograph had drifted into Baltimore's industrial underworld filled with trucking yards, dive bars, and abandoned factories. Alcohol, crack cocaine, and violence slowly consumed larger pieces of his life until even friends described him as unpredictable and dangerous. Some nights he laughed loudly while buying drinks for strangers inside smoky bars near truck stops. Other nights he looked like a man carrying darkness heavy enough to crush anyone around him. Baltimore's industrial outskirts became the perfect hiding place for the boy who would eventually become one of America's most infamous killers. Rusted factories, abandoned warehouses, and homeless camps created a world where desperate people disappeared easily into darkness. Prostitutes wandered near truck stops while addicts searched alleyways for shelter, money, or another hit before sunrise arrived. Men like Joe blended perfectly into that chaos because everyone there already looked broken somehow. Joe eventually became obsessed with a woman struggling with addiction who lived around the same dangerous streets, consuming both their lives. Their relationship turned violent quickly because arguments about jealousy, drugs, and money exploded almost every night inside dirty apartments and alleyways. Neighbors remembered screaming loud enough to echo through entire buildings while furniture crashed against walls in the darkness. When the woman disappeared with their child, the boy who would become Joe Metheny finally began transforming into something terrifying. According to Joe's later confessions, he began searching beneath bridges and around homeless camps looking desperately for the woman who vanished from his life. He stormed through the encampments carrying weapons while demanding answers from frightened people trying to survive freezing nights beneath the highways. Witnesses later described him as enormous, sweating, furious, and impossible to ignore once he entered the camps. Rain poured endlessly overhead while freight trains thundered through the darkness above them. Joe later claimed two men beneath one bridge knew where his missing girlfriend was hiding from him somewhere inside Baltimore's shadows. The confrontation escalated rapidly as insults, accusations, and threats echoed beneath dripping concrete pillars during the stormy night. According to Joe's confession, rage completely consumed him before he attacked both men with brutal violence. By sunrise, the boy from the photograph had taken another step toward becoming the monster history would remember as Joe Metheny. After the killings, Joe realized something horrifying about Baltimore's forgotten industrial underworld hiding beneath the highways. Nobody came searching beneath the bridge immediately after the murders happened during the storm. No helicopters appeared overhead, and no massive police operation flooded the homeless camps with detectives. The city simply continued moving while bodies disappeared silently into darkness beneath the rain. The women Joe targeted usually struggled with addiction and survived through prostitution near truck stops and abandoned industrial roads after midnight. Some recognized him casually from the streets, while others saw only another lonely laborer offering money and temporary escape from the cold weather. Few understood the giant man approaching them carried violence buried beneath every word and movement he made. One by one, women vanished into Baltimore's industrial shadows while fear spread quietly through the streets. Investigators later discovered remains buried in shallow graves near abandoned factories, wooded lots, and isolated industrial zones connected to Joe's confessions. Detectives searching those scenes described mud, rusted machinery, broken concrete, and silence stretching endlessly through the rain and darkness. Families waited desperately for answers, while police slowly uncovered evidence hidden beneath Baltimore's forgotten outskirts. Each discovery transformed terrifying rumors into horrifying reality connected to the boy who would become Joe Metheny.